Hello everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen table where I talk about myself and my life in music. Today I'm going to tell you about my 12 favorite songs. This was a tough list to narrow down. I'm sure I could have compiled hundreds upon hundreds, but for whatever reason these are the ones that stood out. They're in no particular order. Let's dive in. First, we have the song Blackbird by the Beatles, a tune written solely by Paul McCartney off of the White Album. A lot of Paul tunes have identifying features. They draw harmonically from the Great American Songbook and showcase an incredible sense of melody. The song Blackbird epitomizes this. It sounds simple enough, but there's some interesting stuff happening with the chords, and any guitarist will tell you how well it fits under the fingers. Like so many Beatles tunes, this is a songwriting masterpiece, and an honorary shout out to my other favorite Fab Four song, Here Comes the Sun. Next up is by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Turn It Again. Stadium Arcadium came out at the height of my RHCP fandom. I saw the band twice on that tour, once here in Winnipeg as well as once in Melbourne, where they also did a free show at the city's main square. What cements this song as my favorite from the band is John's guitar work. The song builds into an amazing solo with like 30 guitar parts. Gotta love it, really great stuff. Sadly, I'm not sure that they ever played it live, at least they didn't at the concerts I went to. Moving on, Big Country by BELA, FLECK and the FLECKTONES, specifically the version they played on the Live at the Quick album. Now, if you don't know BELA, FLECK and his band, you should check them out. BELA is, in my opinion, the greatest banjo player of all time, an absolute prodigy who totally reimagined what the instrument was capable of. The band plays funky, jazzy, bluegrassy stuff, and everyone in it is a master of their craft. Jeff Coffin on sax, Victor Wooten on bass, and of course, Future Man on synth axe drumitar. The song is just truly a beautiful piece of work. It's simple, and it's amazing to hear what these great musicians can do with it. It reminds me of a time when I was starting to look a little bit deeper into music. My friend Al and I would listen to this as we drove around aimlessly as teenagers are prone to do. Good times. Without this next song, my life would likely be very, very different. All the Small Things by Blink-182. In the fall of 2000, I saw Blink-182 perform this song at the MTV Music Video Awards. I said to myself, that is what I want to do when I grow up, so I asked my parents if I could take guitar lessons, and before I knew it, I had borrowed a knockoff Strat from my neighbors and was learning Ode to Joy. This song was part of the soundtrack to my awkward teenage years, and I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for it. And on that note, the next tune on my list comes from a similar point in my life, The Decline by NOFX. This is a 20-minute long punk rock odyssey that keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time. This was one of the first songs that I got the idea that there was a bit of a deeper message to it, not that I really knew what it was when I first started listening to it. It showed me a different side of the musical art that the angsty teen in me gravitated towards. On top of that, it's catchy and engaging start to finish, and that trombone line gets me every time. Moving on, we have Hey Hey My My, Out of the Blue by Neil Young, which is the acoustic version of this song. I first got to know it one summer when I was out on the lake fishing with a good friend of mine. We were probably 15 years old or so, and I was just starting to get to know classic rock. A few years later, he passed away unexpectedly, and this song always reminds me of him and those great times we had. It's got an awesome guitar part that plays the bass line along with the chords, and an incredible harmonica solo that hits me hard whenever I hear it. Okay, next on the list is Blue Train by John Coltrane. I've talked about this before, but I went to school for music, and a big part of my education was studying and playing jazz. I spent a lot of time working on this music, enjoying it, but never really deeply loving it. That is until I discovered hard bop, a subgenre of jazz that leans heavily on the bluesy and R&B side of things. This is the kind of jazz that I could get into and kept me motivated to keep practicing my schoolwork. I picked this song because I feel like it showcases the genius of John Coltrane while also staying rooted in the kind of feel that I love. For me, a lot of John's later stuff is too dense and complex for my ear, but hearing him on this one gives me chills. Since John Mayer's Continuum came out, I've been a total fanboy, but it's the song In the Blood off his newest album that I would consider my favorite. It's one of those songs that the first time I heard it, I said to myself, I really wish I wrote that one, and then listened to it over and over again. I don't really have a ton to say about it. I have no story or emotional connection to it, but it's just that good. I couldn't make a list like this without putting on some Stevie Ray Vaughan, so next up is Texas Flood, which I know is not written by him, but his version is the version. I remember when my old guitar teacher lent me his copy of the Texas Flood CD. I came into my lesson the next week and said, I think that album may have changed my life. Specifically, this song hooked me that much deeper into guitar. I learned a bunch of licks off of it, and I still use them to this day. Okay, here's one that may surprise you, the mainstream country song, I Drive Your Truck by BRICE. Now, I don't enjoy most mainstream country. I find it full of cliches and somewhat painful. In fact, I've listened to a bunch of other BRICE songs and I can't stand them. But this one is amazing, and I know what you're thinking. You just said you don't like cliches, but here we have a song with the word truck in the title. But that's what makes this one so good. It takes an old, tired, overused idea and turns it into something totally different. It tells a story that anyone can understand in a way that no one has ever done. Now and then a mainstream country song does that, and those are the true diamonds. This song was a big reason that I wanted to move to Nashville to write songs. It showed me that these types of songs can exist in that genre, and that's what I wanted to create. And here's another one from out in left field, Take On Me by the 80s Norwegian pop band a-ha. You know the tune, and there's a reason why I did a cover of it last year. Sometime around 2007, my buddy Beatles and I were playing this dumb karaoke game called, I think, SingStar, and this song came on. I believe we were both trying to impress the same girl and we took turns singing it. Needless to say, we did not impress her, but this song found a soft spot in my heart that night. It also introduced me to the sounds of 80s pop music, which are still a weird fascination for me. I love the sound of Lindrum drum machines and use them frequently. A lot of my synths are reissues from classic 80s synths, and this song introduced me to them. Also, last month I played this song for Beatles as he walked down the aisle at his wedding. And last on my list is what I would consider my favorite song, Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix. I love this song as much as anyone could ever love a song, and it's not even just Jimi Hendrix's version. One summer when I was young, I spent the entire break learning Stevie Ray Vaughan's version note for note. There's also an incredible version by the Corrs that you can find here on YouTube. There's plenty of other covers out there, but what's so cool is that so many different artists could find so much beauty in this one song. Jimi Hendrix is to many the greatest guitar player of all time, and with that label I feel like his songwriting sometimes gets overlooked. But this song is my personal favorite and an absolute classic. And here's some honorable mentions because I couldn't help myself. Loud Pipes by Rat-a-Tat, Crush by Dave Matthews Band, Walls by Tom Petty, Little Red Corvette by Prince, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger by Daft Punk, and November Rain by GNR. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my list of my favorite songs, and remember, music is entirely subjective. My opinion is no more valid or less valid than yours. So why not leave me a comment about a couple of your favorite tunes? I always enjoy hearing from you. Before we wrap this up, I want to remind you that you have until August 31st, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time to get your entries in for my contest. You have the chance to win a beautiful Gretsch guitar by helping me finish a song. Hit that link over there for more information. Get those entries in. The time is starting to wind down. Until next time, thank you all for watching. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I will see you again soon.